Picture two different backyard tomato patches side by side. The first garden is fed with standard store-bought synthetic blue crystals, the classic chemical NPK fertilizer. The plants are big, green, and lush, but the leaves are absolutely covered in aphids, and the gardener has to spray organic or chemical pesticides every single weekend just to get the harvest. Now look at the second garden patch. No synthetic fertilizers are used. No pesticides are sprayed. Yet there isn't a single hornworm or aphid destruction mark in sight. The bugs are completely bypassing it. How is this possible? For decades, backyard gardening books taught us that bugs are an inevitable tax we have to pay to nature unless we spray them away. But a major shift is trending across the soil science community. The data reveals a profound truth. Insect pests don't attack plants at random. They preferentially target plants that are grown in biologically deficient soils. Welcome back to the Soil Biome Consultancy channel here. Today we are moving entirely beyond the NPK bag. We are actually diving into the science of biological pest resistance, proving exactly how living soil food webs create and build immunity in your backyard, and giving you 4 actionable steps to turn your home garden into a naturally resilient ecosystem. Let's dig in. To understand why insects attack certain plants in your garden, we have to look at how the bug sees the world. Most destructive backyard pests like aphids, thrips, spider mites, and caterpillars have incredibly simple, primitive digestive systems. They lack the specialized enzymes like cellulase required to break down complex plant proteins and tough cellular walls. They can only easily digest simple sugars and free-floating loose amino acids. When you flood a garden plant with synthetic NPK fertilizer, you force it to rapidly pump itself full of water and simple nitrogen compounds. The plant grows visually large and looks beautiful, but it cannot synthesize those raw materials into complex proteins fast enough. This leaves the plant tissue brimming with free amino acids and simple sugars. To a pest, a synthetically forced crop is essentially a giant structural sugar rush. They are literally chemically attracted to the smell and the taste of it. So you may ask, what happens in a biologically active raised bed or garden plot then? Well, when a vegetable plant sources its nutrition through a thriving soil microbiome via beneficial fungi networks and active soil bacteria, it receives a highly balanced, slow-release diet of micronutrients and trace minerals and organic nitrogen compounds. The plant uses this balanced diet to perfectly complete its metabolic cycle. It converts those simple sugars into complex carbohydrates and these free amino acids into robust proteins and protective oils. Because the plant successfully builds these complex structures, a pest literally cannot digest it. If a sap-sucking bug or a caterpillar eats a metabolically complete plant, the food ferments in its primitive gut, creating gas and toxic environment. In a very literal biochemical sense, healthy plants are completely unpalatable to pests. This isn't just a beautiful theory of commercial farms, it's backed by robust field data and trials on plant metabolism that apply directly to your home garden. The first core piece of evidence revolves around a metric called Brix. Brix is basically a measure of the percentage of solid matter, mostly complex sugars, vitamins, and minerals in a plant's sap. You can measure this Brix level yourself in your backyard using a simple handheld tool called a Refractometer. Data compiled by regenerative agronomy groups and researchers reveals a direct linear relationship. As a plant's Brix level increases, its pest and disease pressure drops exponentially. When a tomato, a pepper, or a kale plant achieves a Brix reading above 12 degrees, most chewing and sucking insects will entirely ignore it. Their digestive systems simply cannot process the nutrient-dense sap at that level. The second line of evidence comes from field trials on diversified cropping systems. Monoculture plantings like a massive row of just one vegetable relying solely on synthetic inputs creates a biological desert. When you remove synthetic inputs and cultivate biologically active soil fertility, Through diverse planting, you alter the entire predatory architecture of your yard. Peer-reviewed studies tracking insect populations demonstrate that biologically healthy, diversified garden spaces harbor vastly superior populations of beneficial predatory insects like ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, and predatory ground beetles. These natural enemies act as a 24/7 garden security force. The data shows that establishing biologically soil health and plant diversity results in up to 10 times fewer pests naturally, simply because the predatory insect balance is restored. So how do we move away from the synthetic NPK trap and activate this natural built-in biological immunity in your backyard? You don't have to change everything overnight, but you do need to take deliberate, actionable steps to shift the ecology of your soil. Here's your 4-step backyard blueprint. Step 1. Track your plant Brix levels. Stop guessing about your garden's health based purely on your garden, how it looks. Purchase an inexpensive optical refractometer online once a week. Squeeze a few drops of sap from your plant leaves or fruit onto the prism, and read the Brix scale. If your readings are consistently below 8, your plants are highly vulnerable to pests. Your goal is to use the biological inputs to drive that number up to 12 or past it. Step 2. Ditch the synthetic blue crystals. Synthetic fertilizers flood your plants with excess water and free amino acids, ringing the dinner bell to those insects. Ditch the chemical salts and feed your soil food web instead. Drench your garden beds with stable biological forms of nutrition, such as high-quality worm castings, teas, liquid fish hydrolysate, or cold-processed seaweed extract, soil drenches. This provides micronutrients without causing metabolic imbalance in your plant's tissue. Step 3. Keep your beds covered and consistently add plant diversity. Bare soil kills the microbiome. To build the microbial community that protect your crops, keep your garden beds mulched with shredded leaves, straw, and wood chips. More importantly, never plant just one thing in the bed. Interplant your vegetables with diverse companion plantings like marigolds, asylum, basil, and clover. This underground diversity feeds a wider array of microbes, which unlocks the trace minerals your vegetables need to rebuild pest-resistant proteins. Step 4. Create a beneficial insect sanctuary. Give your natural predatory security force a permanent home, so they don't need to leave your yard. Dedicate a small corner of your garden to native perennial flowers, bunch grasses, and a shallow water source. This small sanctuary provides a permanent habitat for the ladybug, hoverflies, and lacewings that keep aphids and spider mites populations from exploding. Gardening with synthetic NPK alone is like feeding your plants nothing but refined sugars and expecting them to fight off disease. It just doesn't work. True pest resistance doesn't come from our chemical spray bottle. It climbs up from a healthy, thriving soil biome. When you feed the soil biology, the biology feeds the plant, and the plant takes care of itself. If you are ready to stop spending money on chemical rescue sprays and start building true ecosystem resilience in your own backyard, hit that subscribe button, explore our channels, and shop at soilbiomeconsultancy.com to get tailored soil management tips. Thanks for listening. Slam the subscribe button to get notified and for grower support, of course. When soil thrives, everything else follows.